Welcome back, and this is new at 6:30. It's become a major part of Oregon's economy and a major player in the fight to curb climate change. But Oregon's only glass recycling facility is in trouble right now, and it could have serious implications in the state. Good evening, everybody. I'm Steve Dunn. The Owens-Brockway glass plant in Northeast Portland recycles the equivalent of 440,000 beer bottles every single day. Last year, it had to limit operations and lay off workers, and soon the Portland City Council is set to vote on a policy that could force the facility to shut down. That is the topic of this week's Willamette Week cover story. Here to talk about it, news editor Aaron Mesh. Aaron, nice to have you with us.
Good to be here.
First of all, let's talk about why is this plant so important?
Well, the main reason it's so important is that it is the only glass recycling facility in Oregon, and it has 115 family wage jobs. But more importantly, Oregon prides itself on being the home of the bottle bill. The idea that when you buy a bottle of beer, you pay a deposit, and then you get that deposit returned when you bring that bottle back, and then that bottle gets turned into something else. Well, the only place in Portland that can turn it into something else is Owens-Brockway.
City Council in Portland considering new fees, and that could be just too expensive for the glass plant, right?
That's right. So the goal that City Council is trying to reach is reducing carbon emissions, and the way that they're doing that, the mechanism, is by charging for the amount of greenhouse gases released into the air. Well, the recycling of glass, in other words, taking glass cullet or glass pellets and turning it into new bottles for beer, that it expends a lot of carbon, which could prove very expensive for Owens-Brockway.
What would it mean for the state if this plant closes?
Well, it would mean that a large portion of the bottle bill is kaput. It would mean that there's, at that point, no place in the state for glass bottles to be returned and turned into new glass bottles. The idea potentially is that they could move those glass bottles out of state and have them somewhere else, but the amount of carbon that would be expended doing that would be even more than it is now.
And the somewhat ironic part of this, of course, Aaron, is the fees are designed to reduce carbon emissions in the state.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that Nigel Jaquist, the reporter on this story, looked at closely. No issue is more important to Portlanders than trying to reduce carbon emissions, but this is essentially a sledgehammer that would put several businesses out of operation without necessarily achieving the goals it's trying to.
Aaron Mesh, always great to see you. Thank you for that. We appreciate it very much. And you can read the entire article in the latest edition of Willamette Week on newsstands now or online at wweek.com.